2016 Auto Owners Insurance Toyota, Martin Truex Jr. If you have a question, raise your hand and we'll bring a mic your way.
Dylan Sherwood with the Emporia Gazette. Martin, when you were teammates with Boyer at Michael Waltrip, what was your relationship with Boyer?
We were teammates. It was good, but we were just teammates, you know, like that was it.
Jerry?
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. Kind of doing some wrap up for next week's All-Star race, just trying to get your thoughts for drivers' input on the, you know, what you can expect going out there, going for $1 million.
I'm not sure, really. I mean, you know, we hadn't run Charlotte yet with this rules package, and there's going to be a few tweaks to it for Charlotte, so for the All-Star race. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be up in the air. Hopefully, it's fun. That's always a fun weekend. You know, the All-Star race, the atmosphere, just the Saturday night short track feel, and you know, in the short little stages, kind of like heat races, just with a lot on the line. It's usually just a lot of fun. You don't have to worry about points. So. It's fun all the way up until it's not. You know, like last year, we had a lot of fun, thought we could win it, and then we get caught up in a wreck, and our night's over, and then you're frustrated. So, it's another race, but it's exciting, and it's a big night for the sport.
Clint Schweitzer, Great American Sports Network, obviously coming off the big win at Dover. 2 races in 5 days, put you in pretty exclusive company. What would that be like for you?
That would be awesome. I mean, you know, I think to be able to win here with this package would be you know, something good for us. We really haven't been stellar with it yet. We did run second in Atlanta and thought we had the best car at the end of the race, but you know, that's a lot different than here and you know, Vegas and some of the other places. So it'd be a big boost for our team, I think, you know, to figure this package out. We had a little bit of a rough day today, but excited about, you know, racing here at Kansas, and it's been good to us. So hopefully we can get it dialed in, get some things figured out, you know, this afternoon, tonight, and have a good run tomorrow evening.
Go to Lee and then Jeff and Chris.
Lee Spencer, Racing Boys. I was going to ask you about that incident in happy hour where all of a sudden Larson came across the front of your nose. Yeah, your eyes are getting big now. I mean, it was like, that was kind of a moment.
Yeah, one of those moments, you know what moment.
Yes, can you kind of describe what was going through
you
your
know,
head?
I seen him out of the corner of my eye. You know, we were kind of almost not quite side by side, but I could see him got loose up at the top, and I'm staying wide open. I'm still wide open, and I can see he's coming down the track, pointing at me. You know, it's like coming down this way, and I'm staying wide open. He keeps coming down. I'm like, oh man, you know. Make a decision here. You either got to hold it wide open or start to slow down at the last second. I mean, I just tried to step on the brakes because he was obviously, you know, coming down right there on my right front. So luckily he got it straight kind of just in time. I kind of got backed out of there just in time, and I think we actually touched, I mean, barely, about that hard. And so got pretty lucky there for sure.
Is the balance just really tricky to try to get this car dialed in, you know, particularly on a track like this? A lot of guys talked about bouncing. I don't know if that was one of the sensations you felt, but with a track that's fairly smooth, that seems to be almost ironic that would be a description of the car.
Yeah, I mean, the first practice for us, we were bouncing so bad and so loose, we made 2 laps at a time. I mean, it was in and out of the garage trying to fix it, making big changes. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely been difficult to hit it right with this car, with this package, you know, on the mile and a half for sure. And you know, it's so temperamental because you have to be wide open. You know, the second you lift out of the gas just a little bit, you're losing a lot of time. And so there's just a fine line there of being really good and not being good at all. The bouncing part of it, I think a lot of the field has fought this year, even at a place like here where you think it's pretty smooth. There's actually some small little bumps in turn 1, and for whatever reason with this car this year, when you start hitting the splitter, it just, each time the splitter touches the track, it gets harder and harder and harder throughout the corner until you finally get straight and it stops. It's literally how it is. So it's been a big challenge, I think, for everybody. And you know, honestly, I think even at the bumpy tracks, it was you know, probably no less challenging than it is even at the smoother tracks. Thank you.
Jeff and then Chris.
Seems like there's a lot of underlying frustration with the drivers this year with the package, and sometimes it bubbles up. So obviously, that's there, and it's like it sort of exists. But how do you guys balance that feeling with being like, okay, this is what it is, and now we have to go embrace it? Like, for instance, Dover. I mean, obviously everybody had a tough time with it, but then you guys had the challenge and you went out there and won. So what is the balance of that?
The balance at the end of the day is we got a job to do. We go out and do it. Like you mentioned, it seems like we only hear about it when it's somebody that's really frustrated. Like I could come in here right now and start complaining because I'm really frustrated. We had a bad practice. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. And, until something changes, we got to deal with it. And, if it never changes, we really got to deal with it. So we got a job to do, and I try to focus on that more than anything. We can talk behind closed doors about it as a team and as, drivers together inside of a team or this and that, but, it is what it is. And they're not going to change it on my account. So just try to do the best job I can with it.
Chris?
Yeah, Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Martin, next week, Catwalk for Her Cause. The initiative continues to get bigger and bigger every year. Just wondering if you could talk a little bit about it and what we can expect next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it. This is a big week for us. Looking forward to it, obviously, and it's our 10th anniversary, so definitely a big deal. We've got a lot of the heroes from years past coming back to be a part of the show to see it, and got Cole Swindell again as an after party. My buddy Adam Sanders and my buddy Taylor coming to open for him. So we got some good music at the end, but the show is going to be awesome, and it sold out already. Obviously, it's been a special event for us. Great sponsors. Wells Fargo is a presenting sponsor. Toyota is a big part of it, as always, Toyota Racing, and everybody does so much for it and for us that it makes it a lot of fun to put it on. And I know it's a lot of stress on everybody at the shop and our staff, but just really proud of what we've been able to do over the years and how much money we've been able to raise and our projects that we have going on right now with Novant in Charlotte and also in Huntersville. So some big things happening, and we've been able to give away a lot of money, so it's been really special. Hopefully this year we'll be able to raise a lot as well. Thank you.
Any additional questions for Martin, Nick, and then Pat?
Nick Bromberg, Yahoo Sports. When Kurt was in here earlier, he talked about, when you're making adjustments to the car, you can almost make the car too good when you're driving alone because you're so wide open and by yourself. How have you had to change the feedback that you give to the crew when you're in traffic on what your car needs when it is in traffic and making adjustments?
Yeah, that's the challenging part. There's so many approaches and options right now, on how you want your car to be, the things you want to work on, how fast do you want to be by yourself, how good can you make it in traffic without sacrificing too much speed is basically what it boils down to. So there's just a lot of different options when it comes to the cars that you can do, and I think just trying to find that right combination for us right now has been a little bit tricky. It felt like we've been on both sides of the drag part of it, and then we've been on both sides of the handling part of it so far, and we haven't quite hit it yet. So just searching a bit, but it's definitely tricky. And typically you try to make your car as fast as you can make it. That's how we always went. Tried to do, and you were always grip limited. So making your car handle better always paid off. Well, now it's not the case. Sometimes making your car handle better doesn't pay off. And that's difficult to get your arms around as a race car driver. Yeah, it feels better, but it's slower. We can't race that. Well, in my mind, it doesn't make much sense, but that's kind of the way it is. So it's tricky. It's a difficult balance.
Yeah, I want to follow up on that. Do you have to adjust your car differently, say if you're running third than you are 15th?
There's no question that if you get out front, you want all the speed you can get. The problem is if you get back in 10th or 15th or 20th, all of a sudden it drives so bad you can't get back to the front. So that's where the difficulty level comes in.
Pat Nicole at NASCAR.com. It seems like we've hit this part of the schedule that's just so good for you between Dover, here, Charlotte, Sonoma. Is that just a coincidence that there's all these tracks that you're really good at in a row, or do you feel like you start to hit your stride maybe 10 races in?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think as a team this year, I think we're still kind of getting things going. But for sure, as racetracks are concerned, they're some of my best, I feel like, consistently. Won a lot of races at both places. Has always seemed to be places I've been good at, even in years when maybe we weren't the fastest or we weren't winning races consistently. So, yeah, a good stretch of tracks, no question. And, a good part of the season for our team, especially this season right now. Thank you.
Reed?
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire. Given those extremes between in traffic and out front, clean air versus dirty air, are pit crews more important than they ever were?
No question. Yeah, pit stops, pit crews, time on pit road is more precious now than ever. And you got to look at also the field is closer than it's ever been. You know, and that adds into that equation. A lot of pressure on those guys each and every weekend.
Go back to Clint in the back.
You won the championship, of course, 2 years ago, second place last year. How do you feel like that your team and your skills are trending right now as we head into 2019?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about where we're at. You know, I mean, still, like I said, we're still kind of trying to figure out this drafting package. I think not only for our team in general, but I think for me, I think it's so different than what I'm used to, and trying to figure out how I can kind of adapt my style and get better at it. You know, drafting and super speedways have never been my forte, and you kind of have to add a little bit of that super speedway drafting element to these mile and a halves now, which have always been pretty good to me. So I'm still trying to figure that out a little bit. But as far as our team's concerned and everything we've been doing lately, it's been really good, and you know, hopefully we can just continue to improve week by week.
Anything else for Martin? All right, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.